calling in from. I hope you're all having a great day. Thanks for joining us for Block Booking for Associates. I'm Morgan Grant, Education and Development Coordinator here at NACA, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Evan to get started.
Good afternoon, associate members. Welcome to the annual Block Booking with NACA webinar. Prior to launching into the 2014 fall conference season, we want you to see and hear about all of the exciting new changes that will be coming your way. My name is Evan Schaefer, and I have the absolute pleasure of serving as the NACA National Block Booking Coordinator. I'm a Coordinator Senior at Arizona State University, Certified Special Events Professional, Consultant for Large-Scale Events, and I hire out for voiceovers for voicemail boxes for you, your office, your cell phone, or your family. My home region is the West, and this season I'll be attending the South and West regional conferences. Next up, with support and assistance from Nellie Hermanson, who's our Assistant National Block Booking Coordinator, also serving as the Assistant Director for Campus Programs and Student Activities at the University of Iowa in Iowa City, Iowa. She's the director of our Block Booking Social Committee. Her home region is Northern Plains, and her contact email is listed below. She will be attending the Central, Mid-America, and Northern Plains regional conferences. You'll notice that I'm speaking as if I'm talking on the radio. That's because this is being recorded, and we're going to be using snippets of this for our upcoming orientation videos. So thank you for playing along. Meet the regional block booking team. Representing NACA South is Jessica Searcy. She'll also be attending Northeast for additional national support. Mid-Atlantic is Amy Fines. Central, Seville Harris. Northeast is Colleen Powers. Mid-America is Devin Osoro. West is Aaron Tuttle. And Northern Plains is Rich Ramos. Is that not the best-looking block booking crew that you've ever seen? Protocol for this webinar is that your phone and microphone will be muted, so you will not be able to speak with me or with the group directly, which could be a positive and a negative. Morgan from NACA will be monitoring questions that you can chat in to her, and will have the ability to interrupt me with your questions. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. We'd rather ask than you not. There is no stupid questions. I ask that when you ask your question that it be done in a respectful way. After we give the full overview of this meeting, the full overview of the new NACA block booking beta system will include block booking registration, associate member portal, school member portal, block booking meeting format, as well as guidebook integration. Our typical what is block booking will occur at the very end of this presentation. That will allow for those veterans and those older folk that have been along here since the place first opened to be able to leave and enjoy the rest of their day while the rest of us sit and chat about what it is that block booking represents. Our main goal as a team, where is it? I lost myself. Oh, there we go. Our main goal of the block booking team is to facilitate a process in which block booking is a more accessible process for institutions and associates, made easy through the integration of an all-new mobile platform. What was changed last season? We redid the block booking logo, branding strategies, and website. We eliminated the naughty list /1979 projectors in camp and now text directly to the buyer. Block booking will not print the Associate Act or Agency Act listing for associates before camp, which saved us close to 10 reams of paper. The Amazon rainforest sends you their regards. We thank you for that. Also, the block booking orientation video, which was a very invigorating video featuring my lovely dog, Sheldon. Branding, visuals, ads, and more is, as you can see here, these are all of the new branding strategies that were implemented this past fall and spring. These will be coming back to us, so if you ever happen to want to know where block booking is, just look out for our trademark B, and we will be close right behind. Please remember that the block booking team is not able, nor are we responsible for inputting artists into your roster. If you show up on site and figure out that one of your artists is not listed on your roster, you should log back into your portal and upload them so that they can get an Act ID number and be able to be blocked through our system. But don't you worry, we'll show you how to do that in today's webinar. I know you're excited. How do I get started? Some of you, these pictures look very similar to the way that some of you looked when we talked about this past fall. This system has been a year to year and a half in the making, so I'm very excited for you all to see it. Without any further ado, I want to introduce to you the new NACA Beta Block Booking System. Look at this beautiful, beautiful page. All right, I'm going to take a few minutes and show you how easy the system is to navigate. We'll be inputting a form, changing an existing form, reviewing artist calendar, and also inputting new artists into your calendar, or into your roster. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to input some artists into your roster. And actually, you will not be doing this through the NACA or the Block Booking with NACA website. You'll be doing this directly through your NACA portal. Over in the top right-hand corner here, you're going to see the word sign in. That means that you're going to sign in to the NACA.org website. For the purposes of this test, we created a associate member rep, so that way we don't have to incriminate anybody by using their credentials. Stand by while the cloud searches for our registration. Perfect. Top right-hand corner, it says, how's it going, National? Well, that would be, so how's it going, and then your username. You're going to click My Profile right here. Please stand by. And we're standing. Okay, perfect. You're going to see that your contact information is listed right here, as well as what you are associated with. You're going to view and edit details. Down below here are all of the events that you're registered for. If you notice, we're registered for all of them because we will be at all of them, which we're excited to see you. View and edit details. Please stand by. I apologize for the lag. It's quite the long distance from South Carolina to Phoenix, Arizona. All right. So down below, we're going to scroll to the very bottom, and it says Current Acts. You're going to notice that we have all of the acts that are currently listed under this particular agency. To remove them, you just click the Remove button, and it is right there. But we're not going to remove them because all of them have activity that we want to show you. We're going to add a new act, and to do that, you simply just click the Add New Act button. For the act name, we're going to go ahead and add an act. We're going to be represented by National, and if they have a website, they can input that too in a description. But the only thing that's required in this particular field is the act name. Then we're going to save it. Please stand by. Boarding a flight from Phoenix to South Carolina, flying over to Texas. Here we go. If you notice down here, it has now been entered. So Kazi's Stuffed Bear Shop is going to be Act ID 166051. Now, one thing that I do want to tell you is that the system does a refresh with our block booking system every 15 minutes. So if you input this artist and then go directly into the block booking system, it may or may not pull the act ID up, pull the act immediately. Remember that it's on a 15-minute interval. So if after 15 minutes you still try and enter it into the system and it doesn't pull, please visit your local block booking coordinator. Whether it be regional or national, it doesn't matter. We will all have the answers for you. All right, so that is how you add a new act. We're going to get out of this website, and we're going to go to the wonderful Block Booking with NACA website. Something that I'd like to let you all know of right now is that this Block Booking with NACA website is completely separate from the NACA.org website. The only thing that is the same is that we pull information from ProTech to populate the fields that are already listed in here based upon the registrations from delegates and associates. So this system works on a much faster, much larger scale than our current NACA.org website. We're going to click Login to Block Booking. As you notice, you'll see the username and password that you'll use to log in. You will use the username and password that you will use to log in to your portal from the NACA website. So your credentials will automatically transfer from the NACA.org website to the block booking website. If you happen to lose your password, the block booking team will have the ability to look up your password in camp for a small nominal fee depending on how we feel and who's asking. Please do what you can to remember it. If you'd like some password suggestions, please email me and I'd be happy to send you some. If you are nowhere near camp or it's the middle of the night and you realize you want to log into the block booking portal, no problem. You can retrieve or reset your password by visiting your NACA membership portal. So if you click this button here, a new window will pop up, which will be the NACA website, and then you simply just scroll down. Trouble with signing in, we can help with that. You forget your password, then you click nothing because it'll help you. You input your email address and username and hit next, and it'll reset. It'll reset or send you your password. Something to keep in mind with this as well is that this is on a 15-minute interval too. So if you happen to reset your password, you're going to have to wait 15 minutes in order for it to refresh the system to be able to allow you to log in. If it's 3 minutes before camp and you happen to not remember your password, you can come to the Block Booking Center, and provided that the team is not busy working with troubleshooting web-based issues or something like that, we'll be more than happy to help you out. Obviously, we are here for you as well as the institutions. So we're going to enter in our username. We're going to enter in our password. You have the option to sign me in automatically. What this does is that once you go into, if you access any other, if you access the NACA website from any other platform, whether it be through Guidebook, whether it be through another window, then it will automatically log you in for a quicker, speedy entry. One other thing that I would like to add is that once you're logged into the system, it has a 4-hour timeout. So as long as you continuously are in the system, you never have to worry about re-logging in, unless it's after 4 hours. So then we're going to sign in under NamNam. Wow, fast. That was almost like the Intercontinental going across the United States. Okay. Now, over here on the top right-hand corner, you should see your name. Welcome National Contact. That would be my submitted form, and enter a new form. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click Manage Bookings. As you'll see, this is the list of block booking activity that's already been completed for your institution. The first thing that we're going to cover is entering contract priors. We're going to click this button right here. And right now, you are able to enter in. That's fantastic. He did it. Okay. Right now, you're able to enter in any act that you have on your roster. So if I happen to type in Linda, Linda will automatically populate. If I happen to type in Amazing Inflatables, it'll automatically populate. For those of you that have 150 to 3,000 names on your roster, this will be incredibly easy for you to be able to just start typing it in, and then it'll automatically populate by either the act ID number or the name of the group. If it's a member school, select member school, and then the school here works the same exact way. You start typing it, and if I type Arkansas State University BB or ARC, then it will populate with everybody that starts with all schools that start with ARC. Date, you can either type it in, and it's a MM/DD/YY format, or you can hit the little calendar button, and you can enter 13, and then it's a day or night show, and then we hit save. And then bam, it goes to Amazing Inflatables, and it's a contract prior. Something that we are currently working on that should be live within the next week or so is there's going to be a button located here for bulk upload. The bulk uploading will allow you to upload it through a CSV file. There will be a downloadable CSV file as a form that you will, as a format that you will be able to basically fill in based upon your dates, and then upload it to the system by just clicking, by the click of a button. It will do a radial search for the institution or the venue based upon the zip code. So if you happen to type in the zip code for, I don't know what that is. If you happen to type in the zip code for your particular school, and it happens to populate then with all of the schools listed for that for that zip code, because as you can probably imagine, those schools that have multiple IDs, you would sit there and try and guess how they have their school listed in the system. So as opposed to doing that, and opposed to you having to learn the school act ID numbers, it will populate with radio buttons and it'll have you select them. The system is also designed to not allow duplicates. So if you happen to wonder to yourself, oh my goodness, did I already input this date in, guess what? It doesn't matter, because you can enter it in again, and the system will find it, and it will say, I'm sorry, this is a duplicate date. So these contract priors will then go into the system, for which will be seen by the associate, by you, the associate, as well as the institution, so that if you do allow for block booking based off of contract priors, that they will automatically be loaded. Very, very exciting. So going back to the Manage Bookings button, we are going to enter a new form. Click here to enter new form. Now, the school members also have this option. You can enter the form searching for your ACT, or you can enter the form using the ACT and Artist ID. Something that we're currently working on with the Associate Member Portal is that by entering the form using the ACT or Artist ID, the idea is that we can type in, which we have not enabled quite yet. What we're looking to do is type in Linda, and then all of a sudden Linda would populate, very similar to the contract prior page currently. The school ID, obviously you will have to get that from the particular school that you are looking to book. For the purposes of this test, we have a we have a school that we are going to use. So for ACT ID number, we are going to type in, for the sake of time, I have an ACT ID already that we're going to use to go ahead and enter the form. So 159382. I'm very interested in bringing Linda Lecture to my campus, which is very, very exciting. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is put in the school code. The school code for this particular one is 159. Sorry, no, that's wrong. 108249. Oh my gosh, Evan, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. All that you have to do is enter in the number, and it'll automatically populate with everybody that's associated with that particular school's information. So, for example, Joe Crabb is registered. The phone number is 803-732-6222, and for those that don't know, that is the NACA main line, as well as the school contact email, which is, for the sake of this test, blockbooking@naca.org. Now, the best part is that for the schools particularly, any delegate that's registered for the conference can block book. I repeat, any delegate that's registered for the conference is able to block book, provided that they are authorized by their staff member to do so. What that means is that if you have somebody in your booth and you type in the school code, it could populate with however this particular drop-down menu will populate with whoever is registered for that event. If there's multiple registrants and they happen to click another one, if that information is different than, if the phone number and school contact email is different than what is listed here originally with Joe Crabb, then it will automatically change. Now, if they happen to come up and say, well, my advisor's the one that needs to get the email, that's completely fine, because this is editable as well. And what this email does is we need to please make sure that before it's submitted that this is absolutely correct. If they edit it, if they don't, the system automatically checks it to make sure that it's a usable email address. Now, you'll see here that your name, the firm name, will automatically populate with your booth number. Now, if there's 2 or 3 or 15 associates in your booth, now 15 associates in a 10 by 10 space is a little tight, but I'm not one to judge, then you can select whichever associate you happen to be with, whatever associate happens to be working with that particular school. So, for example, if Associate A represents the east side of the United States and Associate B represents the west side of the United States, and they happen to work on a commission basis or whatever the case may be, whatever school they work with, they can select the appropriate rep, and then that particular, once that is selected, this information will also change below based upon their registration information. So when you register for the particular conferences, make sure that you're registering with the email address for which you would like to receive all of these notifications. Now, for those of you that have split agencies, okay, you will be required to log in through your other portal for that split agency. Unfortunately, we were not able to figure out a solution for this year for that, but I'm looking for you to look right past that and be able to look right into the fact that we are moving this to an online, really awesome format. So what that means is that if Associate A has Business A that they're registered for, and Associate B has Business B that they're registered for, then in order to access the particular artist off of that roster, then you will have to log in as that particular agent. So there will need to be some credential sharing between the two of you. Now, something that some of you have done in the past that will no longer be okay because it will throw the system completely off is duplicate artists within the same two agencies. So, for example, if Linda Lecture was represented at both the National Agents Associate as well as the Regional Associate, but they happen to be the same umbrella company, because of the way that the system is designed now, where one number can represent one number represents the artist, and one number can represent the artist from two different agencies, it will start to build two different profiles and two different schedules for that particular artist. Okay, so please make sure that you're double checking which number you're going to be using for that particular artist and act, and make sure that that is the only number that you use for the duration of the conferences. Otherwise, the schedules will be start to get congested in terms of, you know, Associate A or Artist A, Associate A and Associate B calendars for the same particular artist. I know that was probably extremely convoluted and incredibly difficult to understand if you don't have two agencies, but those that do, I hope you figured it out. Now, the next thing on our list is we have to select an interest level. The school has to select an interest level. Okay, for the purpose, oh my goodness, for the purposes of, hold, stand by. This is not a, I want to verify this is not a product of the system, it's a product of my computer. Okay, so before we start hammering me about the system, just remember it's my computer. So slow down. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to commitment of block forms. We're going to do a nighttime show. And then, again, you can type in the date if you're feeling saucy, or you can hit this little button here, and you can go to whatever date that you so choose. We're going to do November 11th, and then we're going to click Finish. Because we entered that form through your particular portal, it will automatically be approved. So you don't necessarily have to worry about approving any particular forms as they go through your particular portal. But I want to show you something. Once you hit submit from your portal, and the school, once you hit submit from your portal, or the school hits submit from your portal, you will receive an email in addition to the school receiving an email that looks like this. SAO 2014 Linda Lecture Block Booking Form created. A block booking form has been created at 2014 NACA South using the NACA Block Booking Form. Status is accepted. They're automatically accepted if they're entered in through the associate member portal, because it's assumed that you're only going to allow them to do dates that make sense for that particular artist calendar. You've got the school name, the contact information, and all of that fun stuff. And I want you to know that that's an instantaneous email. By that I mean it should take about 30 to 45 seconds for it to come. If you know the system first starts out and you don't happen to see them, make sure that you recheck your email address as well as your spam folder. And if that's still not happening, then come to the block booking booth and we can definitely help you. Now, that's basically entering a new form. Now, let's say that the school comes back and they say, you know what, Evan, I'm not feeling that particular artist for that particular day, so I'm going to want to change my date. Okay, no worries. So we're going to go to Accepted. We're going to click on Accepted. Don't worry about these B's. That's excited. I want you to cover that up, okay, because I don't want you to see the excitement that's going to come. That's going to come a little bit later. In fact, I'm going to help by covering it up so that you don't get, you know, excited too early. All right, so we're going to click the pending button or the accepted button. The pending notification is when the school member happens to enter in the form. Then it gets sent to the associate for approval. So you accept or decline the proposal that the school member submits, and I will show you that here in a second. So they click on the pending button here, and the form that was filled out will populate. Now, let's say that the school wants to CR. Okay, fine, that's no problem. They can CR. Let's say that the school wants to take a step back in SD. Okay, they can, oh wait, no. No, that's right. They can't downgrade. There's no downgrading once you get to the commitment level. So, once they commit to a CB or a CR, there is no way that they'll be able to download that. If you hear that clicking, that's me pounding on my mouse to illustrate to you visually as well as orally that they will not be able to downgrade. Now, because it is a pending form, once the school happens to submit it, down at the very bottom you'll have the approve or decline opportunity. For the purposes of this test, we are going to decline their request. We've also enabled you to put notes. Hi, Linda. No. Hi. Wow. Hi, Nellie. Sorry, this artist is overseas this week. Can we find another date because, oops, sorry, we also have spell check enabled too, because they are super duper excited about coming to your campus. Please, oops, please visit me in booth test 404 so we can chat. Finish. Uh-oh, the form's gone. Oh, wait. Clicking this little button up here in the top left-hand corner that says Show Declined Forms allows you as the associate to be able to track which forms you declined and be able to reference that back to which schools have resubmitted for dates. So that way, if you have a school that hasn't resubmitted yet but has actually submitted a form at one time, you may follow up with them to be able to see if they're still interested. This was based on the feedback that we had gotten from the Northern Plains Regional Beta Test. So there you go, and you're welcome. For the purposes of this particular calendar, we are going to go ahead and hide that Show Decline Forms. Now, for the purposes of showing how awesome this system is, I'm going to show you the email that's generated as a result of the form that we just submitted back. As you can see, the form has been declined, and decline notes. Hi, Nellie. Sorry, this artist is overseas this week. Can we, well, you know how to read, I hope. But you can see that it basically spits all of that information out for you. It gives the ACT information in terms of how to contact you as an associate, and then how you can contact the school. You are carbon copied on this particular, as you can see, agency contact, that's my personal email address. Please forget it once this is over with. But you are carbon copied on the message, so that way you can keep track in a file folder for your particular agency. Now, once we have created a new form, we've changed an existing form, now we're going to view the artist calendar, which we are currently viewing right now. Okay? So if you happen to be in Linda Lectures portal here and want to enter a new form, and let's say that Linda just showcased and Linda killed it. Okay? They're all about wanting to talk about all the various things that Linda talks about because Linda was on a reality TV show or who knows what. Or she's the best-selling author of New York Times and Oprah Magazine. Okay, let's just say that. Well, we can enter a new form from Linda's portal, and Linda's information will automatically populate because that's how awesome we are. Okay, then you're gonna ask the school for their ID number, which, if you remember correctly, is 159382. Enter. Whoa, that is embarrassing. Oh wait, no, sorry. That's the artist ID. Since you all can't, since I can't necessarily hear you, it's kind of awkward because I make a mistake and I say something and I don't hear anything in response. So, there we go, school ID. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Okay, Joe Crab popping up, wanting Linda again. Just holler at Linda. Once the school ID is inputted, all you need is now the interest level, commitment, time of day, or and the date range. And then they hit finish. Now we're going to hit cancel because we don't want to submit another form. Now, standard radius for us that we have inputted is 300 miles with 3 events in 5 days. This is all editable. So if you happen to say, if your artist happens to like to be in a car, which I know that there are some that do, you can type in 600 miles within 3 events in 5 days. You click refresh, and it will recalculate everything here. Now, keep in mind that all of these schools' distances are within 117 miles. So let's say that they're super duper needy and they don't drive more than 25 miles. Oh, look, there's no blocks. Okay, it'll go away. Now, when you say, Evan, what do you mean there's no blocks? That's correct. I'm going to anticlimactically remove this bar here and show you the wonderful feature that's been added. These block booking bees will now illustrate when there is a block that has been formed based upon the radius search that's up here at the top. So, for example, because the distance of 300 miles within 3 events in 5 days, that means that now we have a 6 of, I don't know, 12 or something like that. But for the purposes, let's say this is a 3 schools in 5 days, because you'll see that this is two particular schools on the same day because they're only 20 miles away. And then you'll see that this particular school is the next day. But that's not the best part. The best part, dun, 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 you click on the blue bee, and it will pull up this particular is artist information, as well as the contact for that particular person, as well as the interest. But wait, it puts you essentially to a map. So it will tell you distance from Pretend University, okay? Now, because Pretend University is the top school that we use, Pretend University will then be the anchor school that we will use to basically create the block. Distance from Pretend University to Pretend Bible College is 20 miles. Then Pretend University is going to have another, this is Pretend University's date here, so it's 20 miles. So then Pretend University to Pretend Technical School is 181 miles. Pretend Junior College to, you get what I'm saying. So that's exciting. Now you're thinking to yourself, Evan, none of my artists know how to read maps or know how to read numbers of miles and all of that fun stuff, but they're really good at Google Maps. Well, I've got some brand new news for you, my friends. Put in exclusively for our associate members is Google Map Integration. This Google Map Integration is brought to particular schools. So as you will see here, these particular represents the red F represents the last school in that particular route. Now, what this does is that this does it based upon your zip code. So it's basically a zip code. What's the word I'm looking for? Zip code, not distances, but based upon the zip code radius. So if you happen to be in Greenville, then it's only going to do it based upon the Greenville zip code. Okay. Now, the best part about this is we're going to go back because I want to show you how incredibly awesome this is. We're going to click on. Okay, we're going to click on this, and for the purposes of this test, I'm going to actually move this. Oh, I'm sorry, form. Make sure that you approve or decline. All right, hold on. I'm just blowing up my inbox right now. Okay, perfect. As you will see here, there's a pink bee. Evan, what does that pink bee mean? Well, let me click on it and show you. As you'll see, here's the map again. Now, the best part about this is that the pink bee on this particular map represents that if that school were to upgrade to a CB or CR, then they automatically become a part of the block. I repeat, this is a visual indicator that says that that school is within a 300-mile radius of 3 events within 5 days, at which point then if that school happens to upgrade, then they will be a part of the block. Right now, they are not a part of the block, so that's unfortunate. Now, I'm going to do what a lot of our schools happen to do throughout the school year or throughout the conference, and that is enter in a SI for an entire semester. And although we don't necessarily recommend it, it's something that they do regardless of how many times we say that we're going to take away their birthday. So we're going to do a range of 9/18 to 12/31, and we're going to click Finish. Time of day not selected. Thank you, form. By the way, I'm doing that to show you all of the various neat little indicators that it'll show you if you don't follow the directions. Uh-oh. The following events have already been booked for the same date range. 12/12, contract requested on site, Test University, and 10/11, you can confirm this duplicate date, or you can view the artist calendar. So it'll take you back to the calendar feature. Well, for this particular notice, I'm going to confirm duplicate because I'm awesome. And I have superpowers. So then we go back to these, we click on the little pink bee here, and you'll notice that all of the dates are mapped, yet again, for this particular area, for this block. Now, you'll notice that this S does not have any sort of map. So how do we know where they are? Well, you click this little button here, check to display SI dates on map, and it will automatically assign it a letter, at which point then that particular school will turn red, and it will show them exactly where their particular school is in line with these other schools. So that way they can visually see that if they happen to upgrade to to a CB or CR, that they're a part of that block. It's very exciting. Now, the bestest part about this, if your mind is not blown already, well, I hope you grab some towels because it's going to get blown now. View map in full screen. Now, what this particular feature does is that this will actually pull the address that is entered into the NACA database, that is entered through their member profile, and it will Google map it directly to that particular address. Now, keep in mind that some addresses are for, shipping and receiving locations, memorial unions. Some are particular venues, or if you happen to be in the basketball arena, but this address is for something else. Keep in mind, people, that this system is darn near perfect, but it's not 100% perfect. So I'm sorry, but it's going to get you close. You're going to actually have to communicate with the school via text or phone to actually get the appropriate address for the show. But nonetheless, you're able to export this into any format that you choose and send it to your artist. Anytime that you do that, I want you to think a little bit about us, and please feel free to send us money for making this job a lot easier for you. I mean that wholeheartedly, but I'm kind of kidding, but not really. So that's basically the the block list for this particular artist. We're going to return, we're going to return to the block list, and we're going to show all of your acts. Now, you may be asking yourself, Evan, how do we know that we have forms that need approval? Well, you can either check your inbox for any forms that say pending, need your approval, or you can check your portal. And the first thing that pops up once you log in and click Manage Bookings is awaiting approval. There's 2 forms, and total forms is 8 and 9. So that way, if you all want to have an internal contest among associates to see who's got the most forms, you can effectively do that at your own pace. Very, very exciting. Now, let's say that you happen to be attending the West Regional Conference, and you only care about who is showcasing in the West region. No problem. Click the WST button, and it'll populate with all of the particular artists that have forms entered in for their particular, the forms entered in for this particular artist will populate based upon the region. If you don't have any activity in Mid-Atlantic, which I sincerely apologize for, but we are in no way responsible for, then it will say no records to display. If you want to see absolutely everybody that has forms through all the regions, then you go ahead and click all. Okay. Now, something that the lovely Gina Kirkland had requested the last time, because she was one of our beta testers for Northern Plains, is, Evan, is there any way that we can export this as a PDF or whatever in order for us to get all of these dates and put them into our system? Gina, this one's for you. Click Print Activity Report, and it's going to pull up our Microsoft SharePoint report generator that will allow you to download the report in any format that you select. So if we happen to click what meeting we would like over here on the right, all right, lovely. I just got a text message from our developer telling me that this is currently in the process of being updated with various updates. So that is unfortunate and somewhat embarrassing, but this will work perfectly once you actually decide to start exporting forms. You're going to click the meeting here. You're going to be able to select all the activity, whether it's strong interest, single date, contract prior, contract requested on site, commitment if block forms, hit apply, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's done. You can print it. You can export it. You can post it to social media. you're going to have to host it on the web somewhere because you can't post it via social media through this particular outlet. But nonetheless, it's exciting, very exciting. Now, for the most part, that is pretty much it for this particular interface. One of the things that are still to come are going to be Outlook and iCal downloads for your particular bookings. And then for the school members, they'll be able to pull a PDF report for all of the bookings they did at the meeting. So if you are completely lost, and I mean completely lost by anything that we talked about, within your portal, you're going to see a tab marked Training Resources. You can select School or Associates. For you, let's just select Associates. And right here, you're going to see Associate Member Instructions. Click on Associate Member Instructions, and like I said before, we are currently updating that particular view, but because they were created locally, I will give you a brief sample as to what you can, anticipate. Please stand by. Entering a new form, this is a very much so a step-by-step process in regards to how you can enter a new form. It has screenshots, it has logos, it has arrows, it has words. It's very exciting. This will all be also be produced into a 90-second training webinar through which we will, or training video tutorial that we will also post through these through your portal. All of this should be available by the time by NACA South. Now, for the bulk upload for your contract priors, I ask that you try and upload as many as you can manually. I apologize for the inconvenience, but I assure you 100% that once you do that and the system is completely uploaded with your artist calendar, that you will be a lot better off. I'm not necessarily warning you. I'm strongly encouraging you that you are in control of your own destiny here. So the school members have been enabled to be able to see the artist calendar. If the artist does not have anything on their calendar, they will get the false impression. If they have nothing on their calendar, but they actually have dates that are taken, they will get the false impression that the artist is available when they are not. Keep in mind that bad news travels fast. So it is to your benefit, as well as to those around you, that you input the calendar dates for every artist that you have on your roster that happens to be showcasing at the particular regional conferences and national convention. So what I am going to do now is a little bit different. Well, I'm going to actually continue, and then we will move forward with some questions for the new stuff. But we're going to go back to the lovely little PowerPoint here. This is what our block booking center is going to be like in camp. Over on the right-hand side here, you're going to see our technical supports, block booking coordinators and assistant block booking coordinators, as well as some volunteers. This particular area is going to be our block booking kiosk. Well, Evan, what in goodness name is a block booking kiosk? Well, if you don't have a mobile device or a computer or any sort of smartphone or anything like that, while somewhat in the minority, don't worry, we've got you covered. We are now presenting to you the self-service block booking kiosk. This is to serve essentially like the Southwest Airlines checking your bag kiosk or any other airline kiosk when you go to the airport, which I know a lot of you have been at many airports. The Interact ID will be here. The schools will be able to search based upon name in the kiosk version only. The school ID will automatically be populated they will have to enter in their school ID or type in the name of their school. They'll have to enter the interest level, the time of day, and then the date, time, or single date. And then it will send them an email confirmation and all of that fun stuff as if they did it from their mobile device. Where are the block booking self-service kiosks located? Great question. They're located in the block booking meeting room as well as the campus activities marketplace. So in the beginning of every morning, we will make sure that there are block booking kiosks available inside the block booking room should any of the associates or schools want to use the block booking kiosk. The kiosk itself will not replace conversations with associate members. Think of it as a way, instead of being responsible for taking the white form to the block booking center, the students will do it and enter it. It's very simple. This system is designed to only take about 30 to 45 seconds. If it takes longer than 30 to 45 seconds, you yourself as an associate need to ask yourself whether you really need to be working with a school that's not able to figure this out. I'm sorry, but it's hashtag reality. Hashtag no filter. Again, I want to remind you that this will not replace any conversations with associate members. This is not designed to replace any conversations with associate members. Now, something that I know that you all have been waiting for is block booking meeting format. The acts will be called in alpha order based by agency letter. When an act is called, 3 hands, hashtag paperless, no paddles, goodbye, paper cuts, hello, using your 5-digit hand, or whatever you may have, throw up in the air to signify that you want to begin conversation about that particular act. Now, block booking meeting changes. Acts will only be called if there is business in the system, regardless of whether or not they showcase. Now that the act schedules are available in real time, if the school has an interest in an act, they are able to see their calendar live. School members will be encouraged to input their dates directly through their portal or by the block booking kiosk set up in the block booking room. Right now, what we're looking at, this is a quick view of the meeting calendar, which I will give you a demonstration of. Right now, what we're looking at is we're going to do a beta test of this at South. We're going to basically elong the caucus to be 15 more, instead of 15 minutes, it's going to be 20 to 25 minutes. After those particular minutes, they're expected to have all the forms entered in. At that particular time, we will then go into the on-site meeting calendar demonstration. I'm sorry, the on-site meeting calendar. So before any of you have a heart attack, just hold on. So we're going to select South, and it automatically populates with any particular artist that has forms in the system. So as you can see, we entered in a showcasing artist form. Now this, when you hit next, it will automatically go to those folks that have stuff within the system. This is all from Northern Plains. This whole thing will be wiped out once we begin the fall regional conference season, assuming that they enter those in. They'll have to enter those in as contract priors because it's a new system. So if you don't want to show all the regions, so let's say we're at the West and all regionals have been conducted by that time, it's simple. You just unselect each of these regions and it'll automatically take it out. You select it and bam, it shows up. Okay, interest levels, we want to take out SDs and SIs, and we only want to do contract priors, CBs, and CRs, and bam, there you go. Now, the whole reason why we're taking out the showcasing, the non-formed showcasing artists right now is to help us be able to facilitate the block booking conversation and make it more efficient and effective. So, for example, being able to do that would allow us then to spend more time on seeing if we can get Dakota State here to change their date up to September 4th, which they can do through their particular form, through going through their particular form. They can change that and then automatically build a block. You see that? You see what happened there? Very instantaneous. The block booking coordinators at the front of the room will have access to change the forms should the schools choose not to. There will be a computer designated strictly for the screen to allow for the screen to automatically refresh, so that way you will always get up-to-the-minute views of what the calendar looks like. Okay, now I can also zoom into this very easily. So for those of you that are blind in the back, it will shorten this up, and as you can see, it will basically bring the columns in as well, so that way we're not necessarily losing anything. If for some reason there's a duplicate date and the school says, well, screw it, I don't want it, well, guess what? We can hit exit and delete the event, and it's gone for good. The only portals that automatically approve are the associate member and the block booking admin mainframe. Okay, they will not send confirmation emails to you because it's obviously something that will populate within your portal instantaneously. So once that's changed, if they were to log in, if the associate member to log into their portal, they would see that that date has already changed on this particular artist calendar. So, and then through this screen as well, we can also check the blocks, and it shows the lovely little Google Calendar down here. in case there happens to be any schools in Minneapolis that want to jump on, or Eagan, or Owatonna, or Albert Lee, or Simpson College in Indianola, Iowa, whatever the case may be, University of Iowa, whomever, all of that will populate based upon the 300 miles within 3 events within 5 days. So that, folks, is a snippet into our block booking, new block booking beta system. So at this point, what I'd like to do is open up the floor for questions pertaining specifically to, well, hold on. What can associates do to be ready? Prior to the regional conferences, make sure that your roster is 100% up to date. Update all your artist schedules in the system prior to the start of the conference. This will enable everyone to use the system to its fullest potential. Again, we're working on a bulk upload via CSV file. Read through all the instructions and make sure that you understand everything about your interface. All the block booking staff on site will be ready to answer any of your questions. We will have a full list of frequently asked questions. In fact, Morgan is going to write down all of the questions that you all ask here so that we can essentially turn that into a frequently asked questions page. This is one of them. I'm so used to triplicate forms. I'm so old school. I have a flip phone. Do I need to invest in a mobile device in order to participate? Not really. The system's designed to work on computers, smartphones, tablets, and everything in between. If you don't have access to any of those platforms, we have kiosks located in the block booking center for either associates or school members to input their dates into the system. What does the iPhone platform look like, Evan? Well, here are some screenshots, because obviously I'm on a computer. Here are some screenshots of what the iPhone platform looks like. Keep in mind that this is not the iPhone 6. This is on my fiance's iPhone 5, nor is it the iPhone 6. But if you're looking something to view for an iPhone 6, here's a Galaxy 3 Note, a Galaxy Note 3 from Samsung, and this would be my phone. But nonetheless, as you will see, all of the formatting is HTML compliant, so that way it will pull up mobily for your particular usage. Guidebook integration. One of the things that we're also introducing this fall is going to be through Guidebook. Something that I just found out yesterday is that through the App Store and through the Google Store, there's going to be what's called NACA All Access. Don't bother looking for it right now because it's not going to be there. But there's going to be an NACA All Access app, so that essentially you download that application, you log into it, and you can essentially click a download guides button, and it will automatically populate with all of the NACA guides that are available for that time. So associates, you're able to download all of the particular artist guides and be able to see and utilize it that way. Now, for this particular integration, the school members will be able to submit forms via the Guidebook application, at which point, if they go into your artist profile and they click Enter Form, they click on it. If they're automatically logged into the system, this form will populate with the artist ID, with the school ID, which will populate all the contact information. All they need to enter is a date, a time of day, and the interest level, at which point then it will act just like a normal form. It will email you the associate for approval, and it will just email the school member as a pending. So imagine sitting in a showcase, your artist is killing it, and your phone is, put your phone on vibrate. I want you to get that sensation of knowing that your artist is killing it in a showcase because they could be potentially submitting forms during a showcase. Some of you are asking yourselves, why are we allowing them or pushing them to utilize their mobile devices during a showcase? Keep in mind, folks, that we've been for the last 3 or 4 years or 5 years as an association, we've been trying to get them to put those down, to stop texting, et cetera, et cetera. But as you well know, we encourage the groups to tweet during showcases. We encourage them to do all of this nonsense. They're not listening. They're millennial generations, okay? We're steering into the crash. So as opposed to just kind of deflecting it and saying it's going to happen, we're going to continue to tell them no, we're going to embrace it. We're going to pick that sucker up and we're going to say, you know what? If you're going to do it, we're going to put something in front of you that makes it beneficial for everybody. So thank you for your support on that. That concludes the new beta block booking system. Again, Nellie and myself are the 2 national block booking coordinators that are going to be finishing out the season. Chrissy, unfortunately, had to resign due to some personal and professional related things. So Nellie and I will be representing the national block booking team, and we'll be communicating throughout the season. to ensure that each of the block booking processes and experiences on each of the regional conferences is consistent. I do ask you, and I almost expect it from all of our associates, that you be patient with the team. Please do not raise your voice at them. Be respectful with them when you approach them. If there's an issue with your forms, if there's an issue with anything, if you want to yell at somebody, please feel free to give me a call or drop me an email. I do not want you to at all take it out on any staff member that's at the regional conference. Keep in mind also that we're all volunteers, so there's nothing really holding us in here. So with that, I open the floor for any questions you may have, because I know that we're running short on time. For those of you that want to continue with the what is block booking portion to know what the heck block booking is, then feel free to stay on and we will continue to talk about that. But Morgan, let's open it up for questions.
Okay, we have 8 questions. The first one, where does the description and website show up to schools? Back at the beginning.
For the, I'm assuming that they're talking about when they put in the information for the act and agency. Like when
Sure.
they enter a new act, they want to know where that populates?
Yes.
Okay, that is unfortunately through the NACA website and a ProTech question, so I'm going to actually volley that to Christine. If Christine is not in here, then I can certainly figure that out, and we can put that as one of our answers to questions on the website.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, next one. What about touring companies that have multiple casts for duplicate dates with contract priors?
Multiple casts for duplicate dates. So I'm assuming that, so the only one that comes to mind, and it may be Chris Schuler or Scott Bass asking this, but like Mission Improbable, for example, and I'm not plugging this group, a disclaimer, I'm not plugging this group in any way, shape, or form, I'm just saying that this is an example. They have different acts in different areas. Now, if it's the same troupe, then I would advise you to almost break that up into regional troupes, so that you've got like a Mid-Atlantic South, quote-unquote, troupe. You have a Mid-Atlantic Northeast troupe. You have a Central South troupe, a West Northern Plains Central troupe. Or if it's just a free-for-all, then you're welcome to go ahead and put them in as one artist, but that's on you to manage.
Okay, will the system allow for multiple dates by the same artist at the same schools?
Yes, it will. Now, because the algorithm is set up for showing that it is, going to be a duplicate, it is going to be a duplicate date. They do have the option to basically confirm duplicate dates. So that way, it will go into the system. Once it's in there, then the associate member, provided it's done to the school member portal, it will automatically send an email to the associate letting them know, hey, this particular person put in a request for the same day. We can't do it we can't put an algorithm in based on the time of day because it's too much, and it would slow the system down to have to analyze all that data. So this was the best way that we could come up with doing it. We need to be able to tell the schools that they are potentially impeding another school, but the nice thing is that it lists the school, so if they happen to be within drivable distance, then they just confirm the date.
Back to the contact priors, can they go ahead and start entering the calendars?
Yes.
Available now?
I believe so. I believe so. But before you, how about this? We will actually, and I'm speaking on behalf of the office at this point, but we'll notify through the associate member newsletter or even by just mass email to the associates via, South Carolina laws and regulations, as weird as they are. But we'll let everybody know when the ability to start doing that will be. I need to check with the developer to make sure that we aren't going to do a batch clear of the system with all this test data before we start entering in contract priors. I will also ask to see if those that have dates in for Northern Plains, if we're going to, I don't believe we're going to suppress that information because it ultimately is going to be business that you all are going to use. But what we may do is we may suppress it all because some of it may have turned into something and some of it may not have. So at that particular point, if let's do this. If you happen to have information in there that you don't necessarily want to suppress, email me at blockbooking@naca.org, and we will figure out how we can get that information to you so that once we suppress it, then you at least have the dates that you've got.
Okay, what if not booked at a school, but we want to state on a calendar that we're not available?
That is a fantastic question. On the bulk upload, which I actually walked through with our developer yesterday, and you're all going to love it, when it says, it's going to say venue/institution as one of the columns. Because of the zip code radius, it's going to populate with all the schools within that particular zip code, but then for every single option, it's going to list private event. There are so many ways that we could articulate corporate event, private event, birthday party, bar mitzvah, it doesn't matter because we really don't care. It just means that they're busy. So basically the option that will be available for all bulk entries is going to be private event. And that option is also available through the entry for the associate if they do it one by one.
Okay. So will we be required to have a laptop or iPad in the marketplace for this, and will Wi-Fi be supplied?
Another great question. As we talked about before, you are not required to do anything. You're not required to get a laptop. You're not required to get an iPad. It is to your benefit that you do so. The reality, folks, is that it's 2014. The fact that we're still using triplicate forms makes us all die a little bit inside. And I understand that we've got some folks in the association that it's going to be a hard transition, but it's time. Pretty soon we're going to have hovercrafts as vehicles, and yet we would still be doing triplicate forms. So it's time to roll. Now, we're not saying that you necessarily have to invest in an iPad. We're not necessarily saying that you have to invest in a laptop computer. A majority of our associates already have those available because that's how they showcase some of their artists. So my recommendation to you is that you do a dual purpose for that. You can create systems within your own area that, if, let's say, you want to showcase an artist and then have a little button down at the bottom while the video is playing that says enter a form in. Bam. Then it's automatically going into your portal, and they're entering the form in that way. All of these things are entirely up to you. We're simply just providing you the avenue for which to collect the data. You can use a smartphone, an iPhone. You can use an Android. A lot of these schools anymore will carry their iPads with them. So the school can enter it through their particular database. They can enter it through yours. I want to throw this disclaimer out there, though. I would highly encourage you to not, and I repeat, do not log in to a school member's iPad with your username and password. If you happen to take a school member's iPad and they're entering it in there, enter it in through their portal, and then you can approve it later. The other nice thing about the block booking calendar is that it will show the dates regardless of whether or not they've been approved. So if you're worried about having to sit at your, if you're worried about after the final marketplace, going back to your room and going through all your forms, like I know all of you do already, you don't necessarily have to approve them before the block booking meeting the next morning. They will automatically pull on the meeting calendar as pending. So if they happen to be, if you happen to accept at that time, then the block booking coordinator can override the pending. However, we will not do that without you saying it. We won't ask you. We will expect you to do it because it's your business. I know that that was a lot for that particular question, but there were caveats I wanted to throw in there. And then Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. So to answer that question, I am extremely, extremely pleased to announce that the NACA Board of Directors is completely 100% behind this initiative, as well as the office is. So as a way to help get this beta test started, the Board of Directors approved for there to be free wireless access, Wi-Fi access in camp, as well as the convention center for all regional conferences. So all regional conferences will have free Wi-Fi. All regional conferences will have free Wi-Fi throughout the facility, rather, and then the national convention we are currently working on.
Is there a default setting of 300 miles for CB, or do we have to go in every time and add it?
A default setting for 300. So the default setting, regardless of the interest level, is always going to be 300 miles within a 3 to 5 radius. So yes, you will have to go in and reset it.
Okay. Do we still need to print and bring our ACT IDs as a result of this beta block booking rollout? Because I believe you were still planning to use forms as a backup.
The forms, so yes, forms, there will, I was hoping to not have to say that, but yes, there will be forms on site. But you're going to have to give one heck of a compelling case in order to use them, because once the forms get distributed into general population, now we run the risk of, now we're running 2 platforms, and for those of you that were in Northern Plains last year and experienced the beta system, when you start running 2 platforms, it gets very convoluted and very confusing, because there are duplicate dates and there are potential issues that may erupt as a result of confusion. So, with that said, there will be backup forms available if the system crashes, because obviously if the system does crash, which I know it won't, we will always have a backup ready to go. What is we always have a plan B. What is the other question, Morgan?
Oh, we have a few more after
well,
that.
No, I'm sorry, the other half of that question. I don't think I answered.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was it.
Okay.
Yep. The culture is still to wait for block booking meeting before they start adding forms. To not bring up showcasing acts who have paid a lot of money to be there is not a good idea. Schools are going to wait for them to be brought up, and I think until people get used to this system, it's a bad move to not do this. I really feel strongly that they should bring up all the showcasing artist names in the block booking meeting.
We will take that under advisement, and I don't say that like a generic. You all should know me well enough to know I don't say that as a generic. Okay, I'm just going to say yes to get them off the line. I appreciate the feedback. Nellie and I know that Nellie's on the phone or on the conference call, so she and I will touch base about that. The only thing that we're worried about is speed, because the block booking meetings, tend to run long. We want to make sure that we're efficient with everybody's time. So we may try it out in South and see what happens, but know that the system is enabled, as of right now, the system is enabled to go today. So if we were to do that, that's fine. We can simply enable that. That's no problem whatsoever. So we will discuss it as a group, and we will let everybody know.
How quickly do we have to accept or decline a booking once we receive it?
It's entirely up to you, because because the booking will automatically appear in your profile as well as the school member profile. Granted, I would say 24 to 48 hours, just as a general rule, because in all reality, if the school sees that it's still pending after 2 days, 3 days, they're going to proceed to think that you are no longer interested. So I behoove you to approve it as soon as you can, but there's no real time limit, because it'll still show up in their particular portal as well as yours.
Okay. If an artist has a school booking not associated with NACA or has a concert that is not school related, can that be entered in on the calendar?
Absolutely. Through the bulk meeting and also through the single meeting, you'll notice that there is a university style, and I'm gonna log out quick and log in so that way you can see it, because that's now the second question related to that, and so I just want to show you all what that looks like. Okay, so here's the associate member. We're going to manage bookings, enter contract prior. So, as you can see, the ACT artist, whoever's in your roster, you can click member school or other venue. Venue, in all reality, I'm going to be honest with you all, I just interfaced with this yesterday, so I don't know whether or not all of that crap is going to be necessary or required. If it is, I will get rid of it, because I don't think it's that important. Okay, it is. So we'll look at kind of shortening that up if it is another venue. I think the whole reality behind that, and maybe I think with the bulk upload, we'll get rid of the city and the state and just leave the zip code. And then for the venue, I think that's helpful for the school to be able to know whether or not to promote it, obviously, because some schools have radius clauses and everything else. So that will kind of help them to know whether or not they can book the artist. So for example, if I at Arizona State University see that the other venue that they're booked at is Comerica Theater that's powered by Live Nation. I am in no way, shape, or form going to engage in a battle with one of the largest promoters in the country. So it's important for me to know that as a school member and then be able to work it out with the associate on the back end.
Okay. We have 10 more questions. So if I am a single artist that represents myself, how do I upload my schedule or see if schools are interested in booking me?
You go through the contract form entry, contract prior form entry. This might be for folks that were coming on a little bit later. If you came on a little bit later, I may say that question has already been asked, at which point, to save time, I'm going to ask that you review the webinar as a whole, because it obviously takes a lot of time to repeat. But nonetheless, for this particular question, they're going to enter contract priors, and then once we get the bulk upload here as an associate, or you can enter in the schools or other venues each individually.
I know you explained this earlier, but I logged into the NACA website. How do I get into the block booking system?
That form, or I'm sorry, the link is not live yet for our particular, it's still in the beta tests, or I'm sorry, it's still in the training module. So it's still getting updated. So once we know when you can log in to enter your contract priors, then we will do so. Now, one of the things I want to tell you as a disclaimer is that once this link goes live, okay, everything is live. So there's no, we are going to build a separate test site so that we, as on site, we can show you, we can do test data through that particular site. Please do not run tests through the actual live site, because it will email schools, it will notify schools of bookings and everything else. Unless you have a relationship with that school that you want to say, hey, I'm going to use you as a test, okay, fine, whatever. But please do not just start entering arbitrary forms for schools that you don't know, because it will notify them.
Okay, will the private event allow for city and state so schools can jump on and book when routing is available?
Say that again.
Will the private event allow for city and state so schools can jump on and book when routing is available?
Yes. That's all I'm going to say. And it says here, it'll say internal test account. That's not the right one. Amazing inflatables. Here, test venue, non-member. This was entered in all through the bulk uploading system yesterday. So as you can see, this will automatically, it will serve very much so like a school member would. But then they're able to see what venue it is.
Cool. Okay. What is the best way to show open availability over a range of dates to any schools in a given region?
I don't have anything booked on those dates. That's the easiest. Because the only calendar that they're going to be looking at is this. So if you have, obviously these are front-loaded in November for testing, but the end of November is cleared, then don't have anything on the date. So don't have anything here, don't have anything booked. And it will, if nothing is booked here, here's a rule of thumb. If nothing is booked and on the calendar here, then it's assumed that they're available. And that's the way the schools will operate.
Okay. Will there be a national block booking person at Northeast or Mid-Atlantic? Yes, there will be.
Not well.
You jumped on late, so.
Yes, there will be. However, it will be one of our regional block bookers serving as a national block booker, because both my Nellie and myself have homecoming and family weekend those weekends. So the job that pays our bills and puts food on our table, unfortunately, takes precedence. So we will send a regional rep that will be able to answer questions, and obviously, if they have questions, then they can contact either Nellie or I, and we can troubleshoot anything over the phone.
When will the block booking site be up to date with the current roster info on the NACA profile? My profile on block booking shows a ton of acts we no longer use, and new ones are not appearing.
That is a ProTech Christine Gordon question. I don't know, because that's an integration from the integration from ProTech, so that's going to be something that we'll have to follow up with Christine and Gordon on.
What was the reasoning behind not mentioning the showcasing act, and what do you do on Saturday if there has only been a 45-minute camp?
So that's two questions. Say the first part of that question again.
Okay, what was the reasoning behind not mentioning the showcasing acts?
The whole reasoning behind not mentioning the showcasing acts was that now that we don't necessarily have to wait for the meetings to occur, where schools can see the availability of the particular artist if they happen to be, like, for example, the last showcase of the night and they didn't go to the last camp because they're exhausted or whatever. They're able to see all the availability from the particular, artist's calendar. Then it was to help facilitate a more effective meeting. The whole goal behind block booking, as you can probably imagine, is to help create blocks. So we as the school, we as the block booking team want to be more efficient and effective with helping to create blocks and spending more time on helping to create blocks and arrange, date blocks to assist you all, as opposed to taking a lot of time, I don't want to say wasting time, but taking a lot of time with pulling up artists that don't necessarily have any business. But showcasing, basically, spending our time on those that do and helping to get our schools to the cost savings that we're intended to. That may not necessarily be what you want to hear, and I apologize for that, but that's the reasoning behind it. This isn't set in stone. I'm not saying that this is in an arched tablet and that Moses is bringing it down the mountain, okay? So that particular piece of the puzzle is still subject to conversation. So once we get a better feel for it, then Nellie and I will relay that to our team, and we will let you all know.
As a follow-up to that, he said, okay, but isn't it a privilege and benefit to showcase, so why not mention them even if they didn't get formed? If no hands go up, it only takes 45 seconds to a minute. I don't think that is a good call at all.
Thank you, Ari. I will, again, it's been noted, and we will converse. I hear your concerns. I know that they're valid. I hope you all know me well enough to know now that, it's not falling on deaf ears. So we will, if we have to adjust, we will adjust. I appreciate your all's flexibility, and I appreciate your all's ability to work with us through this new system.
Any decisions on the times that people can log into the system so that they aren't deterred from coming into the morning block booking meeting?
There have been some conversations about the potential lockouts. Based on the conversations that we had with some of our kind of focus groups related to school members, is that their delegate meetings some delegate meetings occur very late at night. And so for us to kind of throw them out of the system is kind of counterproductive for what we're trying to build here. The schools are going to be obviously encouraged to come to the meeting if, the reality is the business is getting done. So if they don't happen to come to the meeting, then that's something that we'll need to evaluate and see if it's having a significant impact on the amount of bookings that are being done. Then we will obviously, take that into consideration and make changes. Make changes as we go. I ask that you allow us to run the system similar to the way, based on how we presented it today. You allow us the opportunity to do this and for us to show you how the system can work. If you want to provide feedback along the way, obviously, go for it. I'm all about it. But it's really, really important that you kind of let us do our thing and allow us to be able to, let us do our thing and let us show you how the system can work. We're not trying to take food off your table. We're not trying to take money out of your pocket. We're trying to help. So please, if there's things that we're doing that you don't necessarily like, let us know. But by and large, I ask you to be flexible with it.
Okay, last question, which should lead you to the next stuff, is I'm new to all of this. Is there a simple explanation of what CR, CB, SD, SI, etc. is?
Absolutely. And this is going to be quick because I have another appointment for my day-to-day job. So I'm going to run through this very quickly. But there is opportunity for you to go to the NACA website and do a little block booking 101 and allow you for more. Those that are veterans that know exactly what block booking is, there are no changes to the actual system, the process itself, 3 schools in 5 days, 5 schools in 7 days, et cetera, et cetera. So for those of you that are logging off, thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you. Nellie looks forward to seeing you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. With that, we move on. What is block booking? Well, block booking is a non-contractual, cost-effective way to program with small or large budgets. It occurs when 3 or more geographically close schools book an act within a 5 days or of each other, or 5 schools within a 7-day period. Geographically close is defined as 4 or less hours commuting time between the locations. That's based upon the block booking system. So the 300 miles that we have that's default, that is based upon 4 hours or less commuting time. Now, you as the associate determine that. Okay, so if geographically close to you is 600 miles, then that's 600 miles, and that's all on you. We just use this as a buffer to help create the blocks. Overview of block booking takes place at NACA regional conferences at the National Convention in February, and all the prices that are listed in the program booklet and that are done at the regional conferences are required to be good for up to 45 days following the NACA event where block booking session was held. So at the conclusion of the event on Sunday, from Sunday and then 45 days out, is when the contracted price that was listed in the program booklet is still required to be active. We're looking at, provided that the system allows for it, we're looking at the ability to do 365 booking. So if you all have artists, or for those of you that are self-rep that want to utilize the block booking system as your calendar feature, I 125% support that. If you don't because your artists are a little bit more complex and need their own login access, then that clearly isn't going to be the best for you. But you're the only one that can determine that. We ask that you keep your artist calendars updated within the system, because we are also looking at adding in a contract executed button that you'll be able to log into the system and be able to tell us whether or not a contract was executed as a result of that booking, so that we can actually start to track real results as it relates to how effective this process is. Block booking is also an educational opportunity for students to develop and practice important leadership and communication skills in a real-world business environment. They learn transferable skills, interpersonal communication skills, networking, negotiation, public speaking, working as a team, assertiveness, problem solving, and budgeting. How can you prepare for an NACA conference? Well, for the schools, this is going through what the schools are doing. They're asked to go to meet with their boards and discuss several items. What funds are available for block booking, what acts are showcasing or roving. To review the list of showcasing artists, go to naca.org, click NACA events, your region, and the showcases. So for example, the South Regional Conference, here are the showcasing artists for South. They can look at this list, look them up, and everybody's happy. And then what schools are within a 4-hour range of their campus, because that's their prime block bookers. Then they're asked to discuss available funds with their program board, define their program goals for the next semester, set aside a pool of money, create a communication system to share what's happening with the rest of the board while on site. What to bring to NACA, programming calendar. This exists for you all as well, for associates too. Programming calendar that lists any special events for, holidays, breaks, religious holidays, anything that you happen to be, or that artist happens to be busy for. Make sure that you bring that and upload it into the system. The schools are asked to bring open reservation dates for campus facilities, copy the programming budget, creativity and ability to be flexible, and then any mobile device or computer. Campus reservations. How does block booking work? Before you even leave the campus, make sure the plans throughout your conference schedule to make block booking work the best for you. So they're asked to attend one of the block booking orientations, go to camp and showcases, participate in the block booking meetings, schedule meetings with delegations, network with other schools, and complete the beta forms online. Block booking interest levels. Strong interest is a range of dates. Single date, SD is a single date, CB is contract if block is formed, and then CR is contract requested on site. SI means that there's general interest in the artist. This level of interest can be upgraded to any other level, but is not recommended for more than a month. Basically, this means that if the school is interested in the artist or act but doesn't necessarily know when they're wanting to book them, they may submit an SI for the semester. They're asked to submit it for no more than a week, or no more than a month, I'm sorry, but we know that some of them do. Single date, this is if you have a strong interest on a single date. A lot of schools, unfortunately, see this as a contractually binding process, and although some of our associates also see it that way, the reality is that it's not. It's a platform to be able to facilitate conversations, to be able to get them to determine whether or not your artists are appropriate for their campus. So the way that we explain it to the students is that doing a block booking form is very similar to them waiting until after the conference is over with, calling you up while you're in your office, or emailing you and saying, hey, I'm interested in this artist, are we still able to go? That's how we equate it to. So this level of interest is for a single day and can be upgraded to any other level. Contracted block is formed indicates its willingness to request a contract from an associate upon returning to their institution within 45 days of the conference. This level of interest is valid only if the school is a part of a block 3 schools in 5 days or 5 schools in 7 days, and this level cannot be downgraded once a block is formed. A school can upgrade to a CB from any other level. And the most assertive form of block booking would be contract requested on site. This is for those schools that have family weekends or homecoming or just are very aggressive and assertive with their block booking. They can say, I want January 15th, 2015 for this particular act and artist. I don't care what's around me. I don't care what the special convention or conference price is. I want them so they could CR them and be done with it. That's reserved for those who know their date and are willing to do what they want in order to get it. Contracts are not to be given on site, will not be given on site. They will be sent once the school delegates have returned to campus, but within a 45-day window following the conference. If you have a good enough relationship with them and you have a system to be able to generate contracts and email it to them while on site, okay, fine, don't care. That's entirely up to you. So the way you conduct your business is entirely up to you. We just ask that you not offer that up because to some institutions, I'm just warning you, to some institutions it could be a little bit overwhelming to be able to get a contract formally right after they have booked them, block booked them. So block booking meetings, caucus, organizers, we already talked about that. Following the conference, what do I do next? To schedule an update meeting, schedule an update meeting with their programming board. If you want to upgrade, great. Contact schools that you met in your area and finalize all block booking within 45 days. Following the conference, you as associates need to make sure that you follow up with the schools that have shown general interest. They may not be a part of the block. If there are schools that are relatively close to that block, give them a call, shoot them an email, and say, hey, if you jump on this block or upgrade, if you can upgrade, then it's a block and we're all good to go. That concludes the very short definition of what block booking is. For those associates that are going to be going to the regional conferences, there will be, as a part of all of the associate member orientations or new associate member meetings, rather, at all the regional conferences, a regional or national block booking representative will be in the room to help answer any of those questions that you may have.
Thanks, Evan. I know this was long-winded today. Oh, one more question. It seems as if the showcasing artists are promoted at the conferences. If I wasn't selected to showcase at my regional, how do I sell myself?
That is going to be a question for you. So that's a new member question. As a school member, obviously, and as somebody that works, that does the whole block booking business, my recommendation to you is that you put your artists into the system so that they have ID numbers and all that other fun stuff. And then it comes down to what you can do when you're in camp, because you cannot engage in conversation with folks about your artist outside of camp. That's a policy. So make sure that when you have those 45 minutes to 60 minutes to 50 minutes, whatever time you have in camp, make sure you utilize that to your fullest, and you put on your game face and you start working it. My suggestion for new associates is that you not put your table at the very front of your booth, because that blocks off people from coming in. You want to be welcoming. You want to be open. You want to have an open environment to allow folks to come in. So put your table with all your tchotchke crap against one of the sides or the back to allow for that openness to occur. Remember, this is not necessarily a trade show or an expo. You're not just handing out flyers. You're trying to sell yourself to be able to get get money in your pocket and put food on the table. So that's just a recommendation that I have. Your associate member representatives from each of the regions are folks that you can reach out to. Although they are associate members and they too have businesses, I know that they are very nice about meeting with new associates and answering questions like that and coming at it from an associate member perspective.
Okay, thank you, Evan. That was great, and thanks for everybody for hanging in for the whole thing. We appreciate it, and we'll see you during conference season. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everybody.